It was at the Bellflower First Christian Reformed Church that Dad first laid eyes on his future bride. That clinched it. He got up the courage and called her. She played hard to get. She was busy for the next 3 weeks, but Case didn't give up, and she finally agreed to have dinner with him at Knott's Berry Farm.
Dad, do you remember when you and your friend Jake Engel decided to do a practice run at Knott's so that you would know the proper procedure for ordering and how to behave in a restaurant? Was that the first time you ever went out for dinner? What a scene that must have been. Mom and Dad's first date took place on November 6, 1952, and it didn't take long for this straight-laced school teacher and this relief milker with a heavy Dutch accent to sense that they would spend the rest of their lives together. They became engaged to be married on March 15, 1953. Case Reyneveld and Grace Dorothy Stahl were married at the Bellflower First CRC on August 18, 1953, a Tuesday night. They had no idea what God had in store for them. Many surprises ahead. What they did know, however, was that just as their parents, they did not want the circle to be broken. The newlyweds' first home was an apartment on Jersey Street in Artesia, California. Later, they bought their first house from Grandpa Vanderby. It was located just across the street from their apartment on Jersey Street. It was white with green trim and had a huge evergreen tree in the front yard.
Well, there was much excitement ahead and apparently no time to spare. Here was a first bundle of excitement in the form of John William Reyneveld, born June 6, 1954.
But John was not going to be an only child for long, as he had a new baby sister. Sharon Grace joined the family on June 15, 1955.
Case and Grace had their boy and girl, so would that be the end of it? Was this going to be a simple family of 4? Nope, not for long. Mom and Dad were soon to be outnumbered with number 3, Jean Beatrice, who was born on September 14, 1956.
And just when you think you can sense a trend, 1 year, 1 child, there was no new Reyneveld baby born in 1957 or 1958. Did Case move back to Holland? Were the new mom and dad simply overwhelmed with a threesome of John, Sharon, and Jean? Well, we don't know for sure, but we do know they were only halfway to the goal line. Rita Camille was born on January 5, 1959, and the girls now significantly outnumber the boys on Jersey Street in Artesia.
Well, a new pattern would emerge. Instead of 1 year, the couple slowed down the pace to every other year. June 22, 1961, Daniel Cornelius hit the scene.
And then 2 years later, April 28, 1963, Samuel Jack would round out the final tally of 6 Reyneveld children, 3 boys, 3 girls.
The score was now tied, but play was just about ready to begin. Exactly what happened for the next 20 years, no one knows for sure, but we do have some great memories to share and hold for the rest of our lives. Dad began working for the Christian Labor Union in 1958 as a field agent. He was transferred to the San Joaquin Valley, and he and Mom chose Ripon because of the Christian Reformed Church and the Christian school there.
So in late December 1963, the young Reyneveld family headed north to move into a brand new house in the small town of Ripon, California. Does 347 Linda Avenue sound familiar to anyone? It should, because Mom and Dad have lived there for nearly 44 years.
Does 599-3986 sound familiar? It should too. It's the same and only phone number for those two in the past 44 years. We've been dialing it long before cell phones were ever dreamt about. Today it seems like things change overnight, and we don't know what to expect tomorrow, but in the home of Case and Grace Reyneveld, stability and consistency were in vogue. Does anyone recognize this cup?
Ripon turned out to be a great place to raise a family, quiet and safe. The kids rode their bikes everywhere, attended Ripon Christian School, and had passes to the Ripon pool every summer. Mom gave most of us piano lessons and taught the girls how to sew.
Dad began working at Jam Equipment Company in Stockton in 1968 as the office manager. Then in 1980, he made a major career change and went into the drapery business with daughter Sharon until he retired in 1989. After retirement, Dad took classes at Modesto Junior College and also enjoyed his computer. Mom still loves to play the piano and has baked hundreds of her delicious pies for the family.
Mom and Dad have been active members of Calvary Reformed Church, just around the corner.
As you can imagine, time flew by as the kids were growing up, graduating, getting married, and having children of their own.
John and Shirley were married in 1976. Shirley worked as a secretary and John sold farm equipment. John Jr. was born in 1982, Kelly Marie in 1984, and James in 1987. All attended Ripon Christian schools. John Jr. is married to Melissa Entfeld, and they live in Southern California. Kelly is soon to be married and will soon graduate from Stanislaus State. And James will be attending Cuesta College, San Luis Obispo in the fall.
Sharon graduated from Ripon Christian in 1973. She and Roger Swear married on November 8, 1975, and continue to live in Ripon. Michael Edward was born February 4, 1980, and Daniel Jonathan was born on March 17, 1983. We are members of Big Valley Grace Community Church in Modesto. God answered our prayers and recently gave us 2 lovely daughter-in-laws. Daniel and Kelly were married September 23, 2006, and Michael and Vanessa were married June 2, 2007.
Jean was a 1974 graduate of Ripon Christian. The next summer she met Tom Vandersher, and we were married on October 23, 1976. Both of our families lived in Ripon, and we thought it would be the perfect place to raise our family too. Finally, after many years, our prayers were answered, and Haley Jean was born on January 19, 1994. Our lives were forever changed. Mom and Dad, thank you for helping us in so many ways. You lovingly cared for Haley when Jean was at work. Dad, you were always ready to help with a drop-off, a pickup, or an errand. Mom, do you remember you would bake almost every day? Do you remember we each had a bread day? Jean would pack up the babies, the diaper bag, and the baked goods and head on home. Currently, Tom is a driver for Cherokee Freight. Jean is working for her sister Sharon at Schoon's Draperies, doing some of the same work her dad used to do at Schoon's. Haley will be in 8th grade at Ripon Christian in the fall.
Rita moved to Dallas, Texas, and then to Santa Monica, California after high school, where she worked in property management. In 1988, she moved back to Modesto and began college at age 29. In 1991, she married Dave Hahn and had an instant family of 3 with Dave's 10-year-old daughter, Jenny Marie. They live in Modesto and are members of Shelter Cove Community Church. Jenny married Raul Verdugo in 2004, and God blessed their family with 2 unbelievably precious little girls. Renee Joyce was born January 19, 2005, and Isabella Rose born July 11, 2007. Grandchildren are truly a gift from God.
Dan graduated from Ripon Christian in 1979 and then went to the University of California at Davis to play basketball and study mechanical engineering. After graduating in 1983, he was married to Arlene Berghorst on August 6 that same year. The newlyweds made their first home in Bellflower and became members of Bellflower First Christian Reformed Church, also known as Bell One, the same church that Mom grew up in, the same place where Mom and Dad were married, and the church where all of us 6 kids were baptized as infants. Dan and Arlene's children were all born in Long Beach, and they were all baptized at Bell One. Elise Danielle was born on August 15, 1986. Jace Thomas was born on October 5, 1991, and Hannah Joy was born on October 25, 1992. After moves to Caracas, Venezuela, and then to Sacramento, Dan and Arlene and their family reside in Fullerton. Elise is studying to be a nurse, and Jace and Hannah attend Valley Christian High School, the same school where a young Grace Stahl was a teacher back in the 1950s.